Yo, 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 what's going on? It's the NRW, as always, giving you the NEW, and we are back with a new review. I'm joining my regular reviews team of David is Disaster. That's David Estacado. What's up, brother?
What's good, bro? What's good?
I'm good. And, of course, we got your partner in crime, your partner in rhyme, Robert Medina. What's up, bro? How you doing, man? Rob the movie guy in the house.
And all is good, man. Thanks for that nice intro there. So how are you all doing here?
Good, man. Good to see you guys. You know, although we can't be each other in person due to the insanity of the world right now, it's great to see you virtually. Love you guys. You guys are, again, as always, killing it. So can't send you enough praises as always. We've got a great review to do today. We got an advanced screener. And whether it's great or not, we'll let you know in a few moments. But we got an advanced screener from Quibi. Quibi was gracious enough to let us check out their 50 States of Fright.
Shout out to them, by the way. They've really been really kind of doing it up lately with us. Kind of like, here's another one.
Yeah, they're doing their thing, man, getting the word out. And we're happy that we can be the vessels as well to share that information to the world. But before we talk about their newest release called When the Street Lights Go On, we are going to throw it to the trailer right now so you can peep that, and then we'll get into our convo whether or not you should really check it out and let you be the judgment after you hear our words. But here we go with the trailer. Rob and David and I am Kuya P. Here we go right now to the trailer.
The summer of 1995 was the hottest summer in years. The single of the season was Seal's Kiss from a Rose, and Jim Carrey was the biggest star in Hollywood.
If you could, would you go down on yourself?
I heard Marilyn Manson can do that.
People would probably stop reproducing.
Most people aren't aware of the exact moment when they lose their innocence. It usually happens slowly. But for me, it was all at once.
CPD is keeping a close eye on every lead.
I love Chrissy.
Casper Tatum was easily the town's favorite suspect.
I think I got the hots for the dead girl's sister.
Casper Tatum killed Chrissy. And he's gonna pay.
Did you do it?
You're not fooling me.
Did you see anything?
I saw a lot of things that night.
Our town was put under a dark spell in the summer of 1995. I was 15 years old.
All right. That was the trailer from Quibi's When the Street Lights Go On. Again, I'll just preface that we received this from Quibi. They let us know previously about their new horror series called 50 States of Fright, which I think the consensus from the three of us was that it was pretty good. We're interested. It looks like a lot of different actors are getting involved, a lot of different talent behind the camera and in front of the camera. So that has us really interested. Plus, we're into horror, so definitely go check that out. So they have this kind of a thriller, if you will, crime type series, I guess. I'm not sure how to kind of title this because before we started recording this review, we kind of felt like it went CW-ish in a way. Let me throw it to Rob or Steve, whoever wants to kind of break it down, the story synopsis for this.
I mean, if you want to go first, because you actually brought up a really good, interesting point about it being like a novel / CW approach, which I'm curious to have you more.
It pretty much happens in the summer of the 90s. The narrator kind of tells the story of his hometown and these odd occurrences that happen during that time frame. So in that year, I guess it was like his senior year of high school or junior year of high school.
Yeah.
Where, a crime happens or a murder happens in the small town, and the whole town is involved trying to figure out who did it and why. Don't want to give too much away because they'll kind of give away pretty much the whole plot. But that's pretty much the synopsis of it. There's a murder that happens in a small town, and this is narrator kind of going back and kind of reliving those moments as he types it out a few years later in the future.
Yeah. I thought that it definitely kind of had this. I never got the CW vibes. Maybe because I don't watch enough of it, so it doesn't register
Yeah.
with me like that. So I'm kind of out of loop with. But I definitely did get a feel of. It did have a lot of remnants of like '90s vibe to it from the films I used to watch back in that decade. So I did feel a little bit of. But as far as like the mystery side of it's concerned, I never really felt like it was a mystery, to be honest with you. It seemed like more of a dramatic piece of like coming of age story, if you will. And almost I felt kind of a little unfulfilled for the most part until the very end. But even then, I was like, it wasn't bad, but I wasn't thrilled about it, to be honest with you.
I'll shoot with the positives first. So actually, before I go in there, for if you're not familiar with the Quibi series and kind of what we discussed previously with 50 States of Fright, these are like 10 to 15-minute episodes that
No, I think they're
then,
shorter than that, aren't they? Like 5-10 minutes at least.
You know what? With this one, it might be that way. I think the 50 States was 10 to 15 minutes. These, you might be right, about 8 to 10 minutes maybe.
Something like that, yeah.
Because collectively, what we saw today was the whole season, and it was like 10 separate episodes, but I think they're about 10 minutes to 8 minutes apiece altogether, although we got to see it in one sitting. So with that being said, the design of Quibi, and it seems like what their product is, again, is when you're out and about on your commute or whatever, and you're sitting there on the train, it's some kind of form of entertainment that's new entertainment that you can watch while you're going about your business, and then you pick it up again later and get the next installment. So I think that's a great approach. It's something different, and I think also as a creator and filmmaker, it gives you another realm of possibilities for production companies and entertainment writers to kind of do that and flex their muscles. So and then getting the talent involved, amazing talent, and another way to get them to do something different as well. So I think the setup is different, although unlike the 50 States of Fright series, where we saw we saw it in cut up ways as well, even though we saw it all in one sitting. This, I think, for me personally, I think I would have enjoyed this better if I saw it chopped up. I think I would have looked forward to the next installment, because sitting it through it and all in one package for me, I was just kind of like, yeah, especially towards the end. It just kind of switched up. But yeah, so let me throw it to you guys on. I guess we'll start. Let's end it with a positive. So let's kind of talk about our issues, and then leave it on a positive light with what we really enjoyed about what they put together. So Rob or Steve, if you want to go in regards to kind of some of the issues you had with the story, either with the story or with the actors, or just the presentation of how they kind of rolled each kind of like self-contained story out, as the series as it progressed through it.
You want to go first?
No, go ahead, man. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, for me personally, the thing that I had a problem with it was, I think you're right. I think it serves the story better in watching in those short bursts right there, because you have a quick little scenario of what happened between two characters or a group of characters. And then when it moves on to the next sequence there, the transition for what one episode being 5 to 10 minutes here, how that ends, and then transitions to the next episode, it doesn't seem to be kind of cohesive. It's almost like it was badly edited in a weird way. So that was one of my problems with it. But again, obviously we were privileged enough to see the entire show in that hour and a half, I think. Yeah, but something about it didn't really seem cohesive with that whole piece in its entirety. So something about that didn't seem fitting for me. But as far as the story was concerned, I never felt like it was a mystery. It felt like something else entirely different. And the mystery was just the backstory. Yeah. It's more of a character-driven piece, I would say. But even then, it was more. I think it was kind of like certain characters were involved into the story, and then once they were involved, they were completely removed, and you wonder what purpose did they serve in the first place. I mean, they definitely had something to add on to the plot, but it never went anywhere with it, which I was kind of disappointed with. Certain characters I thought were interesting, then all of a sudden were completely removed at the end. And I felt like it was a lot of a wasted opportunity with actors. We've got Queen Latifah in this particular series here. I thought it was going to be much more impactful, and instead she's just making an appearance, and she doesn't really do anything to the story, which I thought was
she
kind
does
of
a great job too, though. I mean, for just that small role, it was.
Yeah, but even then, I think because she's capable of doing so much more, and her user like that, it's like a wasted, it's a wasted opportunity because she's capable of doing a whole lot more, and I'm sure she got paid a good chunk of change just to be there for however many weeks and called it a day. So, I mean, I'm sure she did it for other reasons, but
but it could have been any actor there. It did seem kind of a waste. Steve, what were some of yours as well?
Same, like the build up for the first episode. Kind of really, it was building up to something. They just kind of felt flat for me. It felt like there was something more to the narrative that was missing.
Yeah.
Like it felt like it was like we got the cliff notes of a bigger book, honestly. And you're right, Rob. The kind of chunky pieces bring it up is like some of the, I guess, narrative or some of the story kind of was a little disjointed.
Yeah,
it just makes sense after a while. And there's some characters that I wish I would have we got into seeing a little bit more of, specifically Queen Latifah's character, who really could have stuck around a little bit more. The secondary love interests for Chuck probably would have added a little bit more tension because finding out who he really was involved with, I guess. That's pretty much it. And the reveal at the end was kind of like very. It was trying to be very American Beauty, very CW. Like
that's a good point. American Beauty is what I'm thinking of now to kind of compare to, but it doesn't do as good of a job to carry
wrap
that story.
things up. Like, it felt like it was trying to be American Beauty, but it felt too CW. Like it's really what I felt like. It was like a Cliff Notes version of a CW show, and I'm like, oh, you were there, close, but you kind of fell flat.
He's like, no Dawson's Creek in this here.
No.
So my thoughts echo yours, gentlemen. I feel very much the same way. It felt, again, disjointed. It started off interesting, and but then I would say some of the things that I think are also great about it were also some of the things bad about it. Like some of the things they did seemed like good for shock value, and like they pushed the envelope. Like, okay, let's show them getting drunk and falling butt naked into the pool, and then let's have these kids talking about, dude, would you want to see the girl butt naked even though she's dead? You know what I'm saying? Just some of the commentary, which were very real. And they try to present it as like real characters and how you guys, or I know how I would have grown up. I don't know.
I would have talked the same way too.
Exactly. So I didn't want to, say that you guys did the same thing, but I know I was acting like that. So it was very real at that time. So I give them the nod for trying to connect by being real with their audience and not, trying to mask the shit. But then, even though they did that, what you still got to tell a good story and have reasons for certain characters doing the things that they're doing. So it's like they wanted to give us a thriller. They set up this killing, and now we're going to try and figure out who's the killer amongst all the people they're interacting with, like a normal crime thing. But then it kind of went into like the Dawson's Creek stuff, like you said, the CW stuff, where it then became more of a, the characters growing up, a coming of age type story. And I initially thought, that there was a certain person that was going to be the killer earlier on. So for me, the final reveal was like, what? Like, are you serious? It just, like, all of a sudden, here's your bad guy. Here's your killer. It, to me, is where just like it lost all its everything. Because
it lost just didn't a lot of that luster sense that could have had. Yeah.
And and I'm trying to think of ways did I miss something at the beginning part? Like, I don't even recall an interaction with that specific character in the very beginning of the film until the very end. I remember seeing signs and references to the character by just, in the scenes with that. in in like the background, like posters and shit like that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things wrong with it, but I don't want to get too negative. It was just an okay film for me. But I guess we'll give our final things after we talk about the positive. But yeah, so those are some of the negative issues that I've had with the film that echo yours as well, gentlemen. So let's talk about the positive. So again, like I said, for me, I already kind of said it. I like the realness of it. I like the music.
Yeah.
I like the look, and various parts of it. Especially, I think the key thing for me was I really enjoyed. I'm a big Halloween guy. Love Halloween. Although this year's Halloween sucks because we can't really celebrate Halloween in its normal way. But I loved the Pulp Fiction Samuel L. Jackson nod, and I know for you, Rob, you pointed it out. Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
So I'll throw it to you
Ventura.
now, Rob, with some of your favorite things that you did enjoy about the series.
Well, for me, one of the things that I took away from that was obviously the 90s aesthetics to it, because it's obviously I think it takes place in 95, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of the music up to that point was released. They talk a lot about films, Pulp Fiction. Was it Billy Madison? It was Happy Gilmore. You're right. Happy Gilmore and Dust Till Dawn, several other films. And then the conversations that the kids were having at the pool. And they were talking about, would you suck your own dick? I would probably do it. And then he's like, I heard Marilyn Manson could do it. I was like, oh, I remembered that, because I remember hearing that as a kid in the 90s. Like, I heard Marilyn Manson could suck his own dick, and he took a rib out so he can accomplish that. And I was like, whoa, like as a kid, I was like, oh my god. So
and I don't know about you guys. I had those conversations with
Mark. Oh yeah, I had him. And we talked about this, like, but would you do that? Would you go that far to sucking your own dick? And we're like, I don't know, man. Deep, like. Like really invested conversation between like 13-year-old kids and however old we were at that time. Yeah, man, it's just it brought back a lot of memories of like conversations that I remember having as a kid. And I was like, that was very real. Mm-hmm. And and it's always in the most open area. It's not like in some room. It was in the cafeteria or outside in the public. In this case, it was a pool, and people are walking by, they can hear the conversation, but we didn't give a shit. We just were conversing, being completely oblivious to everyone else around us. So, because we were so invested in those conversations. Like, it reminded me of that time of my life as a kid where the conversations were just bullshit, but it was the most interesting thing for us to get into. That's what I took away from that. And outside of that, I mean, the kids were pretty good for the most part, I thought, as far as the actors were concerned. Mm-hmm. But that's about as far as I can get for the positives here, really, to be honest with you.
All right, no worries.
When I add to that,
the soundtrack was great. Like you guys said, that nostalgia really hit, especially in the very beginning. I love the narration throughout. He did a fantastic job, just kind of again pulling us into the world, kind of hitting those nostalgia notes bit by bit. I like the throwback to staying after school and playing Mortal Kombat on the Sega.
I like that. Yeah,
like they brought in, like they really made it. Okay, this really is taking place during that time period. And I loved how that relation kind of grew with them. Kind of read the writing and the books and everything. Love Queen Latifah. I think she did a great job, even though she was only there for like an episode and a half. Really wish they could have used her more. Let's see, what else is anything that I kind of stuck out with me. No, I think the cast did a great job, honestly. For such a short little snippets, everyone did a fantastic job. No qualms on that. The acting, story, not so much.
Yeah.
I also think that the kids, we all knew kids like that. The school bad boy, if you will, the school jock. I knew kids that were exactly like that growing up. So I was like, this isn't too far fetched, Bob. So I actually appreciated that in that retrospect. Now that I think about it. But I don't know if you guys have anything that you can add on to that.
Oh no, totally. Yeah, totally would echo that. And again, on the character, all the actors, I think everything, the look of it was great, the visuals was great, the actors, everything was well done. But there's just a problem with the scripts. I think the as they progressed later, I guess episodes maybe 5 through 10, just throwing it out there, just I guess halfway through, that it just kind of to me fell apart. Like they didn't know how they.
I felt the
it's
same
like
way.
they knew their beginning. They had a great premise to start it, but they didn't have the ending. It's like they worked from the front towards the end without working from the end to the front. So
do you think it would have been a better? It would have been done better if it was told in the form of like an actual movie where you can expand on it a little bit more, tell like a 2-hour, 2.5-hour version of that story, so you can actually fill in the gaps and have a nice transition to each scene.
I think that this was kind of like a Netflix series first, and then it was just kind of cut down because that's what I felt like it was trying to do.
That's the vibe you got.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I feel like they had something more here.
Yeah, same here.
There's just something just missing. Now, granted, the look and feel, they nailed that. Like I felt like I was watching an old TV show from the '90s. Like they had that look and feel to it. Even to the point like it was like too teenagey melodrama a little bit. But
yeah.
Oh, one more positive that I forgot from earlier, and you guys again, we talked about the cast, the great cast. The narrator, the lead kind of character, if you will. I don't know the gentleman's name, the actor Chuck. Generally, it's kind of a base default kind of role for these type of films, and a role that is generally as a POC, you know, I'm always, it blows my mind sometimes when they put us into that kind of a role, because this is a default role that usually is played by a white character. It was for me personally refreshing to see that it was an African American in the role. Although, really, honestly, it could have been anybody. But I'm just happy that they just didn't default to white, which is something they normally do. But this could have been a Latino, this could have been an Asian, and it could have been an African American. And this time they went with an African American. It didn't matter. Race didn't matter for this role. But it's always something refreshing as a POC to just see representation, and with them always just defaulting to white, it was good to see that, hey, this is an anybody character. I'm gonna put an African American kid in this role, and it was still amazing. He played the role. It was well done, and just because of that, I wanted to point that out because it's just something that isn't normally done usually. So
yeah, you bring up a good point there. But I noticed that too. But the thing that I didn't really gravitate towards the most in this particular scene is that character wasn't utilized to his full potential. I thought.
I agree.
And that's where I was like, it's a good approach, but this is one of the things. And I'm not saying that that's the writers or the director's fault. Maybe it's just that if they put a white character in there, it might have been the same thing. I don't think the intentions were negative as far as what they wanted to do with the character, but when you have a character like that who's going to be a very impactful person into the story, all he really did was just told the story from different perspective, but he was never there during those times. So the guy in there, and I'm like, so what was he really doing in the first place? I mean, outside of what we happened to see between these events, that he was never there in the first place. So I would figure that if they were going to do something like that, this would probably be the best way where the film would come into the picture, and then the narration would probably be an afterthought or just like a secondary way of telling the story, and then you have a closure with him coming back and interacting with everybody in a much more fulfilling way. But that was the problem that I had with it. It's like I've said it before in another review. It's like you're getting all these wonderful meals, but you're eating empty calories at the end of the day, and so you don't really get much out of it. So, and that's unfortunate. But not to take anything away from anyone who worked on this project, I think they did a pretty good job. But some things were just. The script was lacking.
You're right. Race didn't need to play a factor at all. But again, I just wanted to point out that it was that. So that's cool. But I think he was. So I think that's part of the problem with the film is. You have the narrator. You would expect him to play more of a part with everything, but it didn't. We just saw him find another girl. Oh, but then I like that other girl, and now he's back. That okay, but it just didn't tie to the overall thriller of the story. I would have thought he might have generally, that character would help solve the situation to a degree. He was an afterthought. Yeah. He finds out later, like what? He had the best night of his life. And now, I found out she did, bruh.
Yeah, and the thing is that there's one particular scene which we obviously will reveal where you listen to this particular interaction that he has with his teacher, and he reveals something about something that relates to the narrative of the story. And I'm thinking, okay, this is obviously going to play into the story. And then when it does, you're like,
exactly,
it doesn't pay off. Right, it doesn't pay off, and I just thought that was such a really integral part that you just
Yes!
revealed right there, and that character probably could have used that. Say, okay, who's the least likely to, it's something to really build off of that. It turned into something else entirely different, where, and I don't mean to go back into the negatives here, but that it's just one of those things where you have something good, and who knows what could have disrupted that whole narrative right there in the behind the scenes production there.
Yeah.
But this could have been a lot better. But
that was a huge plot point for me. That was kind of like, we're not going to go anywhere there. That's clearly evidence in your hand.
Yo,
yeah,
like clearly evidence, but whatever.
I honestly thought that scene with, I think we're all talking about the same scene, but to me, I think we all kind of triggered there that was going to be something, but it didn't, and that was a letdown. So
yeah, unfortunate.
All right, so that was When the Street Lights Go On. Quibi, I have to give them props that they're trying something different, something new.
Yeah.
There's going to be some winners and there's going to be some losers. Whether this was a winner or a loser, you'll find out in just a second when we all kind of give our thumbs up, thumbs down, whether or not, or to decide if you think it's kind of a maybe. But they're just trying something different. And so let's go kick it off with Rob. Thumbs up. They should definitely check it out. Thumbs down if it's a not, or to the side if it's a, just kind of in between.
I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna give this more like a it's worth a shot type.
Yeah.
It's worth checking out, but I would just don't expect anything out of it, because when you watch it, you may come to your own conclusions. Like, this was really good because I've been wrong before, so that's just how I feel.
All right, Steve, what do you think, bro? Thumbs up, thumbs down, or to the side?
I'm gonna go to the side. Here. Check it out just for the actors. The story was built up to kind of, I guess, to some degree to this thriller, and it's already you're not gonna get like a huge mind blowing story here, but it's worth the watch. Just for nostalgia purposes, honestly.
Yeah.
And just to kind of see where this is going, because I feel like it's missing something. I don't know what it is, but it's almost there. But I say give it a shot.
You know what? I guess we'll have a sweep through to the side for me as well. I want to see more. I like that they're trying something different.
Yeah.
We have all these other services that are going to give us the full-on content. Here, they're trying to, do something different for when you're out and about. I'm sure there's going to be something that's really going to hit, or at least we hope. I'm very optimistic that something will really hit, that we're like, okay, that's it. I definitely will peep Quibi every time I'm out and about. But yeah, just as creators, as talent, and enjoying mediums and wanting to see different stuff, I think we're all across the board. We're all to the side. We want to see them do something, and rather than nothing. You know what I'm saying? We're always, looking for forms of entertainment, because it's a crazy world out there. And hey, we need something to get our minds off
distraction.
of that stuff.
Yeah.
So before we sign off, guys, tell them your socials and how they can follow you. And as always, at the NRW, we're here. It's going to be in the end credits. You'll see it. You know how we do. But go ahead, Rob, the movie guy. Tell him.
Well, you can follow me on my Instagram page or handle as Rob_Medina0585, and on Twitter, RobMedina0585, and on Facebook, Rob Movie Guy.
Appreciate it, brother. Steve.
Well, you can follow me on my Instagram and on my Twitter on David is Disaster. You can follow me on my personal Facebook page on David A. Estacado, where I post, memes, wrestling stuff, and everything else, pop culture, NRW.
All right. Love it, guys. Thank you, guys, as always. Make sure you always tune into the NRW. These cats are giving you great reviews. They're killing the game. I am Kuya P, a.k.a. Patrick Michael Strange, loving life with these cats with the NRW. I'm also part of the NRW, which is the Nerds of Color. We're all Nerds of Color as well. I've got a lot of stuff that I've been doing with them to crank them to a whole nother level. And with that is going to be the Show Pal Show, a new show that I'm doing celebrating Filipino American.
I'm really excited for that one
culture.
there. Yeah.
It's going to be wild, man. A lot of good stuff coming, and this team is doing great things. Expect big things, and let us know in the comments what you guys want to see, what we should do, track, review, follow, because we want to do it for y'all, and we can't thank you enough as an audience. So, Rob, Steve, Love you guys. Love you, audience.
you,
Thank you for
man.
checking us out.
Love you, buddy.
Let us know.
Love
what
everybody
we should
out
check out.
there.
Appreciate you, y'all. Make sure to vote, wear a mask, and stay safe out there, people.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.